Have you ever found yourself staring at your to-do list, paralyzed by an invisible force? You're not alone. Even Brené Brown, the renowned researcher and author, once struggled with procrastination. In her early academic career, she delayed submitting articles, fearing she wasn't good enough. This very struggle led her to groundbreaking research on shame, vulnerability, and courage. Today we're diving deep into Brené Brown's insights on overcoming procrastination. You'll discover why we put things off and how to break free from this self-sabotaging habit. We'll explore the emotional roots of procrastination, from perfectionism to fear of failure, and uncover practical strategies to boost your productivity. Get ready to learn powerful techniques like the Pomodoro method and micro-goal setting, tailored to help you take consistent action. We'll also share inspiring stories of transformation that prove change is possible for everyone. Are you ready to stop putting off your dreams and start living your best life? Let's embark on this journey together, guided by Brené Brown's wisdom, and discover how to turn procrastination into productivity. Your future self will thank you for watching this video. So let's dive in. Tasks that seem simple on the surface can often feel like climbing Mount Everest when we try to tackle them. This is the fascinating world of procrastination, where even the most accomplished individuals like Brené Brown have found themselves stuck. Let's dive into the emotional roots of this common struggle and discover how understanding it can be the first step towards overcoming it. Brené Brown, a renowned researcher and author, once stood where many of us stand today. In the early days of her academic career, she faced a paralyzing fear when it came to submitting her articles. It wasn't laziness holding her back. It was something much deeper. "I was terrified of not being good enough," Brown revealed in an interview. This fear of inadequacy led her to delay important submissions, a classic sign of procrastination. But here's where Brown's story takes an inspiring turn. She shares, "That very shame that made me delay my work became the catalyst for my research into vulnerability and courage." This personal struggle ignited a passion that would not only transform her life but also impact millions around the world. So, what are the main culprits behind procrastination? Let's break them down. 1. Perfectionism. As Brown famously stated in her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, perfectionism is not the same thing as striving to be your best. Perfectionism is the belief that if we live perfect, look perfect, and act perfect, we can minimize or avoid the pain of blame, judgment, and shame. This shield we use to protect ourselves often becomes the very thing that holds us back. 2. Fear of failure. Closely tied to perfectionism, this fear can paralyze us. We might think, if I don't try, I can't fail, but in reality, not trying is the biggest failure of all. 3. Overwhelming tasks. When a project seems too big or complex, our brain looks for ways to avoid the discomfort. This is where the concept of cognitive overload comes into play. 4. Lack of motivation. Sometimes we simply don't see the value in a task, making it easy to put off. Understanding these causes is crucial because it shifts our perspective. Procrastination isn't a character flaw. It's a complex emotional response. By recognizing this, we can approach it with compassion and strategy rather than self-criticism. Let's take a moment to reflect. Think about a recent task you've been putting off. Can you identify which of these factors might be at play? Perhaps it's a mix of perfectionism and fear of failure, or maybe the task just seems too daunting to start. Brown's research introduces us to a powerful concept: embracing vulnerability. By acknowledging our fears and imperfections, we can actually free ourselves from the paralysis of procrastination. It's about recognizing that our worth isn't tied to our performance, but to our courage to show up and try. As we move forward, remember that understanding why we procrastinate is the first step towards change. In our next chapter, we'll explore a practical, game-changing technique that can help you break through these emotional barriers and start taking action: the Pomodoro technique. But before we dive into that, take a moment to share in the comments. What's one task you've been putting off, and which of these causes do you think might be behind it? Your insight might just help someone else break through their own procrastination cycle. Now that we understand the emotional roots of procrastination, it's time to explore a powerful, practical strategy that can help us break through these barriers: the Pomodoro technique. This simple yet effective method has transformed the productivity of millions worldwide, and it's backed by solid psychological principles. So, what exactly is the Pomodoro technique? Imagine breaking down your work into focused 25-minute sprints, followed by short breaks. That's the essence of this game-changing approach. It's named after the tomato-shaped kitchen timer its creator, Francesco Cirillo, used as a university student in the late 1980s. Pomodoro means tomato in Italian. Here's how it works. 1. Choose a task you want to accomplish. 2. Set a timer for 25 minutes. 3. Work on the task with full focus until the timer rings. 4. Take a short 5-minute break. 5. Repeat steps 1 to 4 times, then take a longer 15 to 30-minute break. But why does this technique work so well? The magic lies in how it addresses cognitive overload, one of the key causes of procrastination we discussed earlier. By breaking tasks into manageable chunks, we reduce the overwhelming feeling that often leads to procrastination. It's like turning a mountain into a series of small hills. Suddenly, the climb seems much more achievable. Moreover, the Pomodoro technique taps into the psychology of motivation. Those short, frequent breaks act as rewards, stimulating the release of dopamine in our brains. This feel-good neurotransmitter reinforces our desire to continue working, creating a positive cycle of productivity. Brené Brown's research on vulnerability and courage ties in beautifully with this technique. She reminds us that progress is more important than perfection. The Pomodoro technique embodies this principle by encouraging us to start and focus on making progress, rather than getting caught up in the pursuit of perfection. Let's look at a practical example. Imagine you're facing a daunting task like organizing your entire email inbox. Instead of procrastinating due to the sheer size of the task, you could apply the Pomodoro technique. 1. Set your timer for 25 minutes. 2. Start sorting and responding to emails. 3. When the timer rings, take a 5-minute break. 4. Repeat the process. You'll likely find that you've made significant progress in just a few Pomodoros, without feeling overwhelmed or burnt out. The beauty of this technique is its flexibility. You can adjust the time intervals to suit your personal work style or the nature of your tasks. Some people prefer 30-minute work sessions, while others might extend to 45 minutes. The key is to find what works best for you. Remember, the goal isn't to complete everything in one sitting. It's about making consistent progress and building momentum. As Brené Brown says, sometimes the bravest and most important thing you can do is just show up. The Pomodoro technique helps you show up consistently and manageably. As we wrap up this chapter, I encourage you to give the Pomodoro technique a try. Start with a small task and see how it feels. You might be surprised at how much you can accomplish in just a few focused sessions. Are you enjoying the video? Don't forget to give it a like. In our next chapter, we'll dive deeper into tackling one of the biggest obstacles to productivity: perfectionism. We'll explore how to embrace good enough and keep moving forward. Stay tuned. We've explored the roots of procrastination and learned a powerful technique to overcome it. Now let's tackle one of the most insidious obstacles to productivity: perfectionism. This seemingly positive trait often becomes the very thing that holds us back from achieving our goals. Brené Brown, in her groundbreaking research, defines perfectionism in a way that might surprise you. She states, "Perfectionism is not the same thing as striving to be your best. Perfectionism is the belief that if we live perfect, look perfect, and act perfect, we can minimize or avoid the pain of blame, judgment, and shame." This powerful insight reveals that perfectionism isn't about excellence, it's about fear. But how does perfectionism manifest in our daily lives? Picture this. You have a project due, but instead of starting, you spend hours researching, planning, and overthinking every detail. By the time you're ready to begin, the deadline is looming and panic sets in. Sound familiar? This is perfectionism in action, creating paralysis instead of progress. So, how do we break free from this cycle? Let's explore some strategies inspired by Brown's work. 1. Embrace good enough. Choose a small task and complete it without the pressure of making it perfect. Focus on progress, not perfection. For example, if you're writing a report, set a timer for 30 minutes and write a rough draft without editing. The goal is to get your ideas down, not to create a masterpiece on the first try. 2. Practice self-compassion. Brené Brown emphasizes, talk to yourself like you would to someone you love. When you make a mistake or fall short of your expectations, treat yourself with kindness. Instead of harsh self-criticism, try saying, "I'm doing my best and that's enough." 3. Reframe failure. View mistakes as opportunities for growth rather than signs of inadequacy. Brown suggests, there is no innovation and creativity without failure. Period. Embrace the learning process and celebrate the courage it takes to try new things. 4. Set realistic goals. Break down large projects into smaller, achievable tasks. This approach aligns with the theory of self-determination, which emphasizes the importance of feeling competent and in control of our actions. 5. Challenge your inner critic. When you hear that perfectionist voice in your head, question it. Is it based on reality or fear? Often, our harshest critic is ourselves, and its standards are unrealistic. Remember, the goal isn't to lower your standards but to set more realistic and compassionate ones. As Brown puts it, healthy striving is self-focused. How can I improve? Perfectionism is other-focused. What will they think? Let's put this into practice with a simple exercise. Think of a task you've been putting off due to perfectionist tendencies. Now set a timer for 5 minutes and start working on it, focusing solely on progress, not perfection. How does it feel to take action without the pressure of getting it exactly right? By facing perfectionism head-on, we open ourselves up to growth, creativity, and genuine achievement. It's not about never making mistakes. It's about having the courage to show up and try, imperfections and all. As we wrap up this chapter, remember Brené Brown's powerful words. Imperfections are not inadequacies. They are reminders that we're all in this together. Embracing this mindset can be the key to unlocking your productivity and achieving your goals. In our next chapter, we'll explore how to break down large tasks into manageable steps, making even the most daunting projects feel achievable. Stay tuned to learn how small actions can lead to big results. Now that we've tackled perfectionism, let's address another common roadblock to productivity: the overwhelm of large, complex tasks. How often have you stared at a massive project feeling paralyzed by its sheer size? You're not alone. Even the most accomplished individuals face this challenge. But there's a powerful strategy that can transform how you approach these daunting tasks. Micro-goals. Brené Brown once said, "The middle is messy, but it's also where the magic happens." This perfectly encapsulates the journey of breaking down big tasks. It might feel messy at first, but it's where real progress and transformation occur. So what exactly are micro-goals? Simply put, they're small, achievable steps that lead to a larger objective. Instead of focusing on the entire mountain you need to climb, you concentrate on the next step in front of you. This approach not only makes the task feel more manageable but also provides frequent doses of accomplishment to keep you motivated. Let's break down the process of creating micro-goals. 1. Identify your big task. Start by clearly defining your overall objective. What's the end result you're aiming for? 2. Break it down. Divide this big task into smaller, actionable steps. Each step should be specific and achievable within a short time frame. 3. Prioritize. Arrange these micro-goals in a logical order. What needs to happen first? What can wait? 4. Set deadlines. Assign realistic timeframes to each micro-goal. This creates a sense of urgency and helps maintain momentum. 5. Track progress. Use a system to monitor your advancement. This could be as simple as a checklist or as detailed as a project management tool. But why does this method work so well? The answer lies in cognitive psychology. Our brains are wired to seek immediate rewards. By breaking tasks into smaller parts, we create more opportunities for these reward moments, stimulating the release of dopamine, that feel-good neurotransmitter. This not only makes the process more enjoyable but also reinforces the behavior, making it easier to stay motivated and focused. Moreover, this approach aligns perfectly with the WOP technique, Wish Outcome Obstacle Plan, developed by psychologist Gabrielle Ettingen. By identifying potential obstacles for each micro-goal, you can proactively plan how to overcome them, increasing your chances of success. Let's look at a practical example. Imagine you're tasked with organizing a large community event. Instead of getting overwhelmed by the enormity of the project, you could break it down like this. Micro-goal 1. Brainstorm event themes and objectives 1 day. Micro-goal 2. Create a budget outline 2 days. Micro-goal 3. Research and list potential venues 3 days. Micro-goal 4. Draft a preliminary schedule 2 days. Micro-goal 5. Identify and contact potential speakers or performers 1 week. Suddenly, a daunting project becomes a series of manageable tasks, each with its own deadline and sense of accomplishment. Brené Brown's wisdom resonates here too. She reminds us, courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen. By tackling each micro-goal, you're showing up for yourself and your goals one step at a time. Remember, the key is progress, not perfection. Each micro-goal you complete is a victory, moving you closer to your ultimate objective. Celebrate these small wins, they're the building blocks of major accomplishments. As we wrap up this chapter, take a moment to think about a big task or goal you've been putting off. How could you break it down into micro-goals? What's the first, smallest step you could take right now? In our next and final chapter, we'll explore strategies to maintain motivation and prevent falling back into old procrastination habits. Stay tuned to learn how to keep your productivity momentum going strong. Congratulations on making it this far. You've learned about the roots of procrastination, discovered practical techniques to overcome it, and even tackled the perfectionism that often holds us back. But as anyone on a journey of self-improvement knows, the real challenge lies in maintaining these positive changes. In this final chapter, we'll explore strategies to keep your motivation high and prevent falling back into old procrastination habits. Let's start with a powerful insight from Brené Brown. The middle is messy, but it's also where the magic happens. This perfectly encapsulates the journey of overcoming procrastination. The initial excitement of change may wear off, and that's when the real work begins. But it's also where true transformation occurs. So, how do we stay motivated and avoid relapses? Let's break it down into 3 key strategies. 1. Recognize and celebrate small wins. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Brené Brown emphasizes the importance of this, saying, "Joy comes to us in ordinary moments." We risk missing out when we get too busy chasing down the extraordinary. Practical tip. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you accomplished, no matter how minor they might seem. This practice trains your brain to focus on progress rather than perfection. 2. Practice the review cycle. Regularly reviewing your achievements and adjusting your goals is crucial for long-term success. This aligns with Brown's philosophy of continuous growth and self-reflection. Practical tip. Set aside time each week to review your progress. Ask yourself, what worked well this week? What challenges did I face? How can I adjust my approach for next week? 3. Use courage as your mantra. Brené Brown's message, "Courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen," can be a powerful mantra for maintaining motivation. It reminds us that every time we choose action over procrastination, we're exercising courage. Practical tip. Create a visual reminder of this quote. Could be a sticky note on your desk or a wallpaper on your phone. Let it inspire you when you feel your motivation waning. Now let's address a common concern. What if I relapse into old procrastination habits? First, remember that setbacks are a normal part of any change process. Brené Brown reminds us, there are no prerequisites for worthiness. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy of success and productivity. If you find yourself slipping back into procrastination, 1. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend. 2. Analyze without judgment. What triggered the relapse? What can you learn from it? 3. Return to your micro-goals. Sometimes we need to take a step back to move forward. 4. Reach out for support. Share your struggles with a trusted friend or join a community of like-minded individuals. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate procrastination entirely. That's an unrealistic expectation. Instead, aim to build resilience and strategies to bounce back quicker each time. As we wrap up this chapter and the entire series, let's revisit a powerful quote from Brené Brown. Owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing that we'll ever do. Your journey to overcome procrastination is part of your story. Embrace it, learn from it, and use it to fuel your growth. In our conclusion, we'll tie together all the strategies we've learned and provide you with a clear action plan to move forward. Stay tuned for practical steps to implement these life-changing insights into your daily routine. As we reach the end of our journey to overcome procrastination, let's take a moment to reflect on the powerful insights and practical strategies we've explored. Throughout this video, we've delved into the teachings of Brené Brown and discovered how they can transform our approach to productivity and personal growth. Let's quickly recap the key lessons we've learned. 1. Understanding procrastination. We've uncovered the root causes of procrastination, including fear, perfectionism, and cognitive overload. Remember, procrastination isn't about laziness. It's often a protective mechanism against vulnerability and shame. 2. The Pomodoro technique. We learned how breaking tasks into manageable 25-minute blocks can overcome cognitive overwhelm and boost productivity. 3. Facing perfectionism. We explored strategies to embrace good enough and practice self-compassion, key elements in overcoming perfectionist tendencies. 4. Micro goals. We discovered the power of breaking large tasks into smaller, achievable steps, making even the most daunting projects manageable. 5. Maintaining motivation. We discussed techniques to celebrate small wins, practice regular review cycles, and use courage as a mantra to keep moving forward. These strategies, grounded in Brené Brown's research, offer a holistic approach to not just overcoming procrastination, but embracing a more authentic and courageous way of living and working. As we conclude, let's revisit one of Brown's most powerful quotes. We cannot become what we want to be by remaining what we are. This encapsulates the essence of our journey. Overcoming procrastination isn't just about getting more done. It's about becoming the person you aspire to be, someone who shows up, takes risks, and embraces imperfection. Now it's time for action. I challenge you to choose one small task right now and take the first step towards conquering procrastination. It could be as simple as sending that email you've been putting off, or setting up your workspace for a focused Pomodoro session tomorrow. Remember, every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Share in the comments which task you're going to tackle first. Your action might just inspire someone else to take their first step too. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and productivity. Remember, in the words of Brené Brown, you are imperfect, you are wired for struggle, but you are worthy of love and belonging. Now go forth, be courageous, and start turning your procrastination into action. Hey, incredible growth seekers! Wow, what a journey! If this video resonated, subscribe now for more life-changing content. Join our community of self-improvers. Smash that like button to fuel more content on mindfulness, goal setting, and emotional intelligence. Share this video to create a ripple of positive change. Comment below about your growth journey. Your insights shape our content. Next week, boosting self-confidence and overcoming limiting beliefs. Don't miss it. Every interaction brings us closer to a world of empowered individuals. Let's make personal development global. Stay inspired, keep growing. Your best self awaits. Let's unlock it together.